All right, guys, so I have the results of how much commission I earned yesterday when I mass emailed out that CPA offer to targeted leads. If you haven't checked out yesterday's video, go ahead and do that. I'll drop that as a card in the right-hand corner so you can pretty much, obviously understand where we are in the process. So you can basically get the most out of the results and you understand, what it took to get there. The second one was not nearly as successful as that first one. The first one I made, I think it was like 900 something. I don't remember exactly how much it was. It's been a couple weeks, but this one was nowhere close to that. So I'm gonna break this down for you. Now it underperformed in a lot of different ways, but it was still successful when you think of the fact that I made almost $264 in one day. It was very, very easy just by mass emailing out a list. So I'm gonna break it down for you and literally go through the process with everything for you so you can understand both what it costs as much as how much you can assume that you can make if you scaled this up. So what I did, and I'm assuming that you watched that first video, we generated a targeted email list using Atomic Email Hunter, and what we basically did was we typed in dog food to that because our offer was for pet food, and it generated us a commission of $160. That's where we're at. So I let that run for a little bit over a day, and then I mass emailed out that list. It was probably ran for like 26 hours, and it didn't generate nearly as much as the last one did. I think the last one almost generated almost 50,000, probably because it was a little bit broader for a lot of different reasons. This one only, for whatever reason, generated 27,644 emails in total. So what I did then was I broke those emails down into 4 accounts. So I had 4 G Suite with GMass accounts, and I mass emailed out the entirety of that list that generated from Atomic Email Hunter over the span of those 4 accounts pretty much evenly. Now, out of those 27,644 emails that I sent, only 4,371 of them were opened. Then from there, out of all the people that opened them, only 918 people actually clicked the link. That's what click-throughs mean. So 918 people actually read and also clicked the link. And then from the 918 people that actually clicked the link, only 165 actually signed up for the offer. Now, there's a lot of different reasons why this one might have underperformed a little bit worse than the last one did. It could have been the email copy. It could have been the broadness of the keyword. It could have been a lot of different factors. It might just not have been a highly converting landing page or offer as good as the other ones. Just to kind of touch on that, like I wanted to briefly talk about that because I go in depth in my course on how it's important to kind of test these things. So even still to this day, I don't have it down to a perfect T. If I could have picked an offer that would have yielded me more money, obviously I would have. Some offers yield me, up to $1,500 overnight. Some of them, I think the most I've ever done overnight is like $1,800, I want to say. And some of them are just total duds. Now, this is not a total dud, but it's not ideal. Obviously, I'd want to earn more than this if I'm sending out 27,000 emails. You would hope that more than 165 people would sign up for the offer. However, it's important to basically test and take action. That way you can learn and analyze the results so that you can improve them. Maybe I stay away from this offer in the future. Maybe I readjust, try a different keyword on AEH, and I'm going to go through all this with you in a second on how I basically approach this. I'm just trying to get you to understand the strategy behind how you can actually improve your email marketing with the CPA offer concepts. So that's key. It's just important to test and see what works for you. And then obviously once you see what works, scale and repeat that because that's working for you. But yeah, just to basically touch on this to recap, only 165 of those 27,000 emails basically that I sent out ended up turning into actual commission for me. And they turned out to be leads. So that yielded me a result of, because the offer paid $160, of a total of $264 overnight that I earned in commission from Max Bounty. So the cost to actually use those 4 accounts, because we touched on this before, 4 G Suite accounts are roughly at $495 a piece, ended up being $1980 in total. Now this is a monthly breakdown, and then I'm going to turn it down into the daily breakdown in a second for you. 4 GMass accounts on those G Suites are roughly $895 a piece. Now 4 of those equals $3580 monthly. So altogether, that comes to a grand total of $5560 monthly. And when you break that down per day, now I just took a random number of 30 because most months have an average of 30 days. So when you divide 5560 by 30, it comes out to $185 that you're spending on 4 GMass or 4 G Suite accounts with GMass per day. So therefore, if you assume that you can scale this up every single day and make similar results, then you can basically assume with an offer similar like this or in this niche, with the keywords, when you're using Atomic Email Hunter and targeting keywords like this, you can essentially assume that you can make roughly $262.15 a day if you had similar results scaled over, the entirety of the month or whatever. So that's how I basically did it. I broke it down to the cost and obviously what I earned. And then once you scaled it and you figure out what it costs per day, you can take that down, and subtract that from your results. And that's basically how I come up with roughly $262.15 a day. I could assume that I could earn if I continued to market to this niche and this email list and basically scaled it up. But one thing I want to touch on is a lot of people stop here. It's important to actually continue to build an email list. So what I did is I saved not only this email list when I mass emailed it out, but what I would do is I would go back into my GMass, and granted, I don't use this because it's my business GMass, but what I would do is I'd go into my GMass report, and this is something everybody gets when you get GMass, and I would go into that campaign specifically, and I'd look to see how many people actually opened that up. And then from those people that opened it up, I would simply use my email exporter right here, and I would literally go down and it would extract all the emails out from that exact list. And then what I would do with that, and in this case specifically, it'd be 4,371 emails that actually open that. And then I would put them into a new list that's more targeted because clearly these people are engaged with me. Those messages are gonna get delivered because they've delivered and opened them before. And on top of that, they've shown an inclination to open my stuff and potentially, view it. So that would mean that I'd slowly build up more email lists, and then I'll excuse me, I'm getting excited. Add all of the openers on multiple email lists over time to a new targeted email list, and then that's where the real money is when you send out a mass email that's similar to all your openers, because they're the ones that are more engaged. They're the ones that are more likely to open, click, and then sign up. So that's key. You want to start building targeted email lists on top of your targeted email lists for the people that have opened it up. And it's really that simple. But I kind of just wanted to touch on this. I wanted to give you guys real-time results, go through yet another breakdown of this so you understand what you can assume that you can make and what you can expect to make if you do this type of thing, in the way that I teach it. So it's really, really key. You got to get your CPA offers out into, in front of more eyes than, just simply putting it on a landing page. When you mass email out targeted lists like this, that's where the power's in the numbers and the scalability factor. So like I said, I would go back and I would potentially generate another targeted email list. Maybe this time I would let it run overnight, not for dog food, but maybe, maybe I'd even go more targeted this time and pick like a type of dog, and then I would send it out. I'm just going to put pet food in here for a second just to kind of show you that that it would work. And you'll start to see it run and pull out emails. And I would just let it run overnight. But clearly I might come up with I might look into like golden retrievers and put that in, because that might end up being more targeted. And clearly the people that are into golden retrievers, a vast majority of them probably have a dog as well. So it's something to keep in mind. I'm not going to wait for this. You can hear it rev up in the background, but it should start generating emails.